Seeking out the source of this oppression has become my obsession. I'm hunting down this enemy with no name who's playing me like a mere pawn in his perverse mind game. I'm finally ready to stand up and be counted against these atrocities, but the fight, it seems so far away when I'm swallowed in his day-to-day, and these front lines are just too many to face. Our forces are divided and conquered, cowering beneath these limiting labels, oppressed without a singular entity to blame, and kneeling before the power of an enemy with no name who's directing from behind the scenes while his front men paint their fictitious victories across our screens. These parasitic sound bites eating me out till I'm nothing but hollowed out skin, hooked upon his purse strings. And perhaps the only form of attack is to retreat within my own mind. But what do you think I find? An imposter of the divine, standing guard at the gates of my mythical landscapes, where our sacred stories are emptied out, parodies and our healing narratives are now toxic bloodbaths, poisoned by his literal obliteration of the sacred within by the concept of original sin, where we are formed from the ashes of double-think women, created to take the blame and the shame for humanity's fall from your grace, as we celebrate the rape of the goddess within until she's nothing but a virginal vessel to carry it to earth in as a sacrifice for our uncommitted sins, so certain that his one path held the truth that he was willing to kill the very thing he set out to save, and now he offers us salvation through his forgiveness. But for what? Birth into this cosmic conflict, where his current incarnation is no longer masquerading as our loving Lord, but as mankind, freed from the divine, where capitalism has become his shining beacon of light and hypocrisy is the only way of life. In this land where anything goes, it's Big Brother's garden of delights, where we are defined by these consumer choices that we make as we celebrate, queuing up for our part to play in this an unfolding tragedy, like signing up for an endless war against ourselves, where it takes war to make peace, fear to create security, and emptying out to feel full of this longing, creating this space for your instant gratification to take place, and leaving us perpetually craving more, dancing among the shadows of our former selves, where the ghosts of our mystical weavers are wailing out to the bitter wind, pinned to their wooden stakes and crucified in fields filled with forgotten rape, sacrificed as scapegoats to your hate. And as I trail through our soulscape, I'm sick with the smell of innocent death. A woman wailing over corpses, staring this enemy in the face, the human capacity for hate. But there's no time to grieve for our bloodied history, as this life hurtles past too fast to spin an ultimate meaning, trying to create critiques which will never reach these blood-soaked streets, while we're swimming in our own swollen deceit. Our collective conscience is too stained to examine closely without the bitter truth bringing us deliverance into this struggle for authentic existence against its nameless enemy and his dirty deal, offering us the illusion of freedom as we kneel before the power of his loaded gun to our heads.